And thank you so much for joining in on the Women's History Month segment for our second episode. I'm going to be asking you some questions. You ready?
I am. I think. I don't know. In the paper.
And tell us a little. I know who you are, but tell the people at home or the people in the office who are viewing this, who are you? A little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm a cook.
Okay.
I'm a mom.
Right.
I'm a grandmother. I'm a widow. What else about me? I love my job. I love what I'm doing at TeamViewer, and I love my team. I've moved around. I'm there 4 years. I was there 4 years about a week ago.
Okay.
So
happy anniversary.
Thank you. Well, it's not the official anniversary because
Okay.
I came in as a temp.
Okay.
So it was the temp anniversary. The real anniversary is in June.
Got it.
But
Marking it down on my calendar so I can tell you happy anniversary in June.
All right.
Anne, tell me 3 words that describe 5-year-old Anne.
Well, you already saw a picture, so prissy.
Okay, prissy, check.
Gosh, I like to cook even then. I had a German nanny that she was really babysitter more. She didn't live with us or anything like that, but I would go to her house and I could make homemade noodles from scratch without measuring it.
What?
Swear to God. Swear to God. She taught me how to use eggshells and stuff to measure things.
What the hell, Anne? No big deal. You're just a 5-year-old who knows how to make.
Okay, so a prodigy in the kitchen, I guess. I don't
No,
know, but it was just
absolutely.
from a good coach, you know. She was just like, this is what she used to tell us stories about living on the farm and things like that.
What was her name?
Her name was Mrs. Schmidt, but I could never say that because I was really little, so we called her Mitt for life.
Mitt. Hi, Mitt.
Yeah, that was it. All her cards, everything was to Mitt.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love it.
She was a doll. But
That
she was
is so
a
sweet.
sweet little German lady with the little stockings, you know, the rolled down black stockings and black shoes like you see in the movies. Swear, she looked just like that.
That is
She was adorable.
fantastic.
She was adorable.
And actually, one of the times that you were in the office, you brought the coolest lunchbox. Do you remember that lunchbox? It was metal.
Oh, maybe was it the tall one or my grandfather's?
Your grandfather's.
That was my grandfather. He was, oh gosh, I forget what number that was. Was it 61 for International Harvester? He had his number painted on
Yes,
it, like
he did.
his employee, like it was 61 or 91. It's still in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few lunchboxes.
Yeah, that was probably the coolest thing because in the lunchroom, I'm eating my lunch, being loud as possible, like always. And then I look over, I'm like, Anne, what is that? And you had this awesome story of how that was your grandpa's and how you still.
It was the one thing I asked for. The one thing when he passed away, I was like, I want his lunchbox.
Yeah.
Because it meant something to me, you know, and plus it's really cool.
Really cool. Super conversation starter, like to the max. Now tell us a little bit about your family. That way we can get to know you.
The family I produce.
Correct.
My husband and I met. I was working at it's like a female clothing store I was up in Canton, Ohio, and that was in the days of the hot pants and the high boots and all that stuff, and that's how we had to dress at that particular store. So my husband was friends with the manager of another store, and there was, you know, fresh meat at the women's clothing store, me, and he bet him $5 that he could not get a date with me.
What?
For real, $5, and never got the money. And it took him about 3 months to coax me to go out with him. But when I did, we went out on a date, and 4 days later, we were looking at engagement rings.
Psh, duh.
Yes. Wow.
Because he knew before I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you are, how tall are you, Anne?
5'10".
And how tall was
Dom was 5'2".
5'2".
Yeah.
So you guys were obviously not the normal couple that you would see on the street.
No.
So you were turning heads, and not only that, but you guys were beautiful.
Well, he was pretty cute. Yeah, that was why I gave in. But part of that was because of the, you know, men should be taller than women. Another one of those, you know, that everybody expects. And so we did get a lot of looks and stuff, but once people got to know, everybody called us like Sonny and Cher. We got really good at I Got You Babe for, you know, what do you call it? Oh my God, the word just left me. When you go out and sing in public with the karaoke.
Yes.
I just could not get that word. Anyway, we would go out and do karaoke, and that was our song because we both,
That is fantastic. That is so sweet.
We had a lot of fun. And then, so we got married that same year. And then about a year and a half later, we had Raina. She's our oldest. And then about 16 months after that, we had TJ. And he's our second. So we had 2.
And they had kids as well.
And they all have kids. TJ has my granddaughter Emily, my grandsons Alex and Tyler, and then Raina and Jay have Brody.
Oh,
so
I love that name, Brody.
I know.
Such a cute
and
little
actually Brody lives here. Brody and his parents live with me. They came in to help me with Dominic towards the end, and we got along so well, and the house was big enough for all of us, so we share that with the 2 dogs and Truffles.
Now, when you see yourself not represented in any situation, whether it be work or personal, can you share a story about a time that happened to you that you weren't being represented, and how did that make you feel?
Well, it's happened a lot through my life, as you can imagine, but most recently when I was hired at TeamViewer, I had contacted a temp agency on that Tuesday, and I was looking for a writing job because that's really the direction I thought that I wanted to go in. And they were talking to me on the phone, and they're like, there's this company, we think you might really be suited to it. And so I did a phone interview that Friday, and I went in on Monday, and they hired me on the spot. So I stayed as a temp from February until June, and then by June I lost Dominic in May, and meanwhile they had already asked me to become a permanent employee. And so then in June I took the training and became, well, I was in channel for then, but now I'm in operations.
Okay.
But anyway, that's so and back to your story. Back to your question. What I did do was I did notice when I came in, I was really intimidated because everybody in there looked like they were like 12 and 13. Everybody was really, really young. I'm like, oh boy, I don't know if they're gonna, want grandma in here with them. But then I started getting into the job, and I think they realized that I could carry my own weight, and I really,
Yes, you can.
I had the chops to do whatever it was that they needed me to do, which is probably why they offered me the job. But meanwhile, I'm watching the company grow, and they're employing more people, and I'm seeing more of my peers also. And I feel like maybe that I felt like I had a good influence because they saw that I had the abilities.
Yep.
And so clearly other people of my age that are, more in my generation could also do the same thing. And so I've watched that grow with men and women, which it tickles me every time I see a new one come in. It's like, oh, cool.
You high five them through the
Not
door.
Not that I
when
don't
they come
love
in.
all you, because you know how I feel about
Yes,
you
of course.
But anyway, so that's really, so, try to make a difference, and I mean, if I would involve myself if I felt like it was really somebody was being wronged because they were my age or something like that. But I felt just exactly the opposite because I had created that in my own head.
Right.
That it was, I was like the one that was different, like way different than everybody else. But I got over it.
I will say this, Anne, from the moment that you walked in the door and I started personally working with you, and I know many of us who saw you come in and be who you are now and grow within the company, we are so happy to have you here. And you're kicking ass.
Thank you.
Listen.
Well, I feel the same. You know how I feel. Of course, I reward with cookies and,
of course.
Whatever else. Charcuterie.
Yeah. You guys should see the charcuterie that she just magically whipped together, and what would take me 3 weeks took her like 30 minutes. Why is Women's History Month important to you?
Because, first of all, let me say, I wish we didn't have to have one, because it should just be history. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't be necessary, but it is, because and it's not taught in schools. A lot of the stuff has been always more towards men and their history and how their impact on the world. And it's so refreshing now, like to see the different movies that are being made about people that I never heard of, and you probably hadn't either until they showed, and then it's like, they were a mathematician at NASA, and things like that. It's like we just didn't know, we didn't hear. So for me, that's why. It's like, so the younger people, I mean, I've engaged Brody in a lot of discussions about women and equality and that kind of thing, and I hope that I've had the same impact on my other grandsons as well. but I feel like there was a big piece missing.
Right.
That is we have to fix.
Now, on that note, who did you pick, historically speaking, for today's segment?
There were actually a couple.
So we'll choose one.
Well, all right. Well, the one I would have to say would be Julia Child, because I identified with her. I mean, she was older than me, and but just the cooking and all that, but she was so natural no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I found out later that she might have been a spy or something,
Oh.
there's a whole big history in there that I don't know all the details. Fun fact, my friend she's an interior designer.
Mm-hmm.
She just redid her home to be sold up in Washington, and she actually sent the pictures to me so that I could authenticate what she put on the tables and everything.
Wow.
Oh my God, I cried. I was like a big baby.
Oh my God.
I know. I mean, it was like, it wasn't a paying job. She's just a friend, and she's like, what do you think about this?
Yeah, and then you took
and
over.
I'm like, God. So that was pretty cool.
That
That was
super
pretty
fun.
cool.
Now for today's segment, what song did you choose?
Again, you're probably gonna have to do the lyrics because I had like 3.
Okay.
All right, so I like "Good as Hell" with Lizzo. That is one of my favorite
Good as Hell with
songs,
Lizzo.
but I don't know, that might be. And then "Cherry Bombs."
Okay.
Cherry Bomb. Are you familiar with that one?
No.
Okay, well then that's by the Runaways. That's an older one, but I like that one as well. And then last, I like Joan Jett's "Bad Reputation."
Oh! We have to play that one.
Okay, like I said, I like them all.
Perfect.
It was hard to choose.
All right, people at home, we're about to play the song. Have a kick-ass Monday. Thank you, Anne.
Welcome. Thank you.